so far through the draft and free agency, which teams have done the best job? We're going to start number 5. Who you got?
Number 5, I've got the New Jersey Devils. When you have 3 first-round draft picks, that's a pretty good start. Then you go out and you sign Ryan Murray. You get Corey Crawford to shore things up in goal. Your first-round pick is a goal scorer in Alexander Holtz. You also pick up Dawson Mercer and Shakir Mohammedoulin. 3 first-rounders. Your future is great, but I really love the pickup of Corey Crawford to really settle things down in net.
That's a sneaky pick, the Devils, and I wish I had thought of it. I went with the Detroit Red Wings. Yes, Detroit Red Wings fans, you are on a list of top 5 power rankings. Enjoy it, because not only did you draft Lucas Raymond number 4 overall, but then you go out and bring in Bobby Ryan, John Merrill. Most impressively, Thomas Greiss. He could really be the difference in at least making the Red Wings competitive, I want to say. And then Troy Stecher, too. You can throw him in there as well. So I have the Red Wings at number 5. Let's move on. Number 4.
Well, I played junior hockey with Steve Yzerman. I got that on you, so I got to put the Red Wings at 4.
Okay.
I'm moving them up 1. Not just because I played with Steve Yzerman in junior for a couple of years, but because of what Steve Yzerman's done to this team. I think getting Thomas Greiss is a huge upgrade in goal. I think he's going to be fantastic for this team. And also, you've got to look at Lucas Raymond. I mean, it was a little bit of a surprise when they took Lucas Raymond at 4, but I'm a big-time Lucas Raymond fan. I've seen him play U18s. I've seen him play World Juniors. I love what he brings. I think it's going to be a fantastic pick. Stetcher's a sneaky good defenseman.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so I'm going to go with the New York Rangers at 4 because simply their draft was phenomenal, right? I mean, Alexei Lafreniere is the type of generational player we think that could come in and immediately make an impact. So that alone has New York in my top 5. They pick him number 1 overall, but they also had another first-round pick, which they traded up to get, and it was defenseman Braden Schneider. So with a team that seems to be already a little bit ahead of schedule, we saw, I mean, yes, it was not what they wanted to do in the return to play, but just to get into a postseason type tournament was a big step forward for the New York Rangers. So I like where they are.
Well, I'm going to one-up you again. It's not because I know anybody in the organization. It's just because I have the New York Rangers in there.
You do?
Well, yes, I do. But I've got them at number 3.
Okay.
I've got them at number 3. And that to me, you've said it. I think Lafreniere is, you put Lafreniere in your lineup and you're instantly going to be a better team. I really like Braden Schneider. Not sure he's going to make the team in the next year or 2, but this guy will be in the National Hockey League sooner than later. And I really like what they did, and not how they did it maybe, but you know what, you had to move on from Henrik Lundqvist. They did move on from Henrik Lundqvist. It's a very difficult decision, but it was a decision that was made within the organization. What's best for the New York Rangers, that was what was best for the New York Rangers, so I'm adding that one in there as well.
I agree, because then you don't even see him as a distraction of just, oh, why are you playing Hank, or when is he going to come in? Just move on and let him go shine somewhere else, which he will do, I'm sure, with the Capitals. This might surprise some people because they haven't been very active so far in free agency, but the Dallas Stars are my number 3. They've only really, I think, brought in Mark Pysyk, but Khudobin is the guy that's going to make the difference for this team yet again. It sounded, by all accounts, like he was on the move, right? Like, after what we saw all the way to the Stanley Cup final, I thought there's no way he's going to stay in Dallas. But the fact that they were able to bring him back on another 3-year deal, assuming Ben Bishop is able to come back and play and have that same tandem, I mean, this is a scary team with him.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I like that. I like that.
Sneaky little.
That is sneaky in there.
Who's your number 2?
It's not really making the move. It's staying with the same guy.
Yeah.
Well, my number 2, I'm going with the Montreal Canadiens.
Okay.
And it's amazing, all these teams that were lower in the standings. But the Montreal Canadiens, I thought, have done a fantastic job making the trade to pick up Josh Anderson and then signing Josh Anderson to a 7-year deal. Anderson, remember, was injured. His shoulder injuries. This guy should score you 20 to 30 goals. A power forward. Re-upping Jeff Petrie. This is a great move. Jeff Petrie is a tremendous defenseman. I don't know how Edmonton ever let him go. Jake Allen, trade with St. Louis. This was done a little while ago. Picking up Joel Edmondson, shoring up more on the back end, the defense, and settling down the number 2 goaltender position. And then a guy that not a lot of people know about, they signed Alexander Romanov. He was a second-round selection in 2018. This young defenseman is going to be in the National Hockey League. He's going to make some heads turn in the National Hockey League. He's going to make some forwards heads turn in the National Hockey League. So I really like what the Montreal Canadiens have done.
Might make some heads turn right now with my number 2 because it is a little high for a team that hasn't done quite a lot. But I've got Vancouver. Now, hear me out. They bring in Braden Holtby, which, you know, that in and of itself is a great move. But they let Markstrom go. And I think that was a great move because then you commit to Thatcher Demko. You don't tie up a bunch of money with Jacob Markstrom. And you don't go out and try to bring OEL, which we had heard they were maybe thinking about a trade as well. Instead, they just stick to their plan because their plan made them a really good team, especially in that return to play. And so you know that you've got a bunch of guys that are going to have to get paid eventually, right? 2 looming large, Elias Pettersson, Quinn Hughes. So if you just stick to your plan, keep your young, talented core, don't overspend right now. I don't know. I have them as my number 2.
I like Braden Holtby coming in to help out Thatch Demko. I think that's a very, very shrewd move. Thatch Demko is going to be a number 1 sooner than later. All right, so let's go to number 1.
I feel like we have the same.
I think it's probably a consensus number 1. How can you not like what the Ottawa Senators are doing, what they've done? The 3 first-rounders in the draft, and then trading a second-rounder to get Matt Murray, and then signing Matt Murray. You've just shored up your goaltender position for the near future and for the next few years. Tim Stützle is absolutely tremendous player. He'll fit right in. And you know what, Jake Sanderson, he could fit in on the back end. I'm not sure that we're going to see him step in. I think a year in North Dakota, at least one, will do well. But I really like what they've done. They've also picked up Austin Watson, is another player they picked up. And they also picked up Goodbranson on the back end. So for me, it's the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah, I have nothing more to add other than the fact that, not only those 2 first-round picks you mentioned, but they had 3 total first-round picks. So that's a huge difference to build your team. And 2 in the top 5, like you said, Stützle, Sanderson. It's going to be really fun to watch with the Ottawa Senators. They could be back in the playoffs as soon as 2, maybe
2 years.
3 years.
I say 2 years, they'll be knocking on the door.
Oh, my gosh. Well, there you go. Your very strange power rankings, but I'm sure a lot of Senators fans and Red Wings fans out there really appreciate it.